Hey everybody, it's Tawny here again, and this is a video that was requested based on a response from one of the others that I had done about toxic relationships and kind of things to avoid and red flags. So the question was, what are some traits and things to look out for to kind of be able to decipher who is a toxic person coming into your life? It's important to understand that when we're first meeting people, our impressions can oftentimes be wrong. Think about how you prepare yourself for an interview or something really important, or to meet someone very important. Sometimes you're not putting your most authentic self forward. You're kind of fabricating things, or maybe you're not as aggressive. Maybe you're not using the same language or talking about the same things you might if you were with someone that had known you for years and you were very comfortable with. Kind of assume that most people are doing this when they're meeting you for the first time, where they may seem very, very friendly or they may seem very healthy, but it's very hard to distinguish this. And so it's also hard to put people into these categories so fast and so quickly before it is sometimes too late. So here are some things to just kind of look out for, different traits of toxic people. And again, these can come in the way of friendships. They can come, in family members, in co-workers, and in relationships. They're all the same. These are the same traits to look out for. So it's going to be a bit jarbled because I'm kind of just doing stream of consciousness with this and my own experience. But let's go along for the ride. So here are some traits to look out for, some warning signs of a toxic person. So first of all, look for people who have no real interest in the hobbies or the things that interest you and make you happy. So oftentimes a toxic person is very, very self-absorbed. They aren't really going to care about how things affect you as much, because really it is about themselves and their world. And that can be a very unhealthy thing because not only in our romantic relationships, but also in our friendships, having someone that doesn't actually care about you, it really does eliminate the purpose of having them so close to you. Why would you want people around you that don't actually care about your well-being or about the things that make you happy, especially if you are counting them as a very close friend or a very close relationship? So definitely look for someone who is maybe only talking about themselves. And when you talk about yourself, maybe they seem bored or they're not interested in learning more or engaging more with you. That's definitely something to look out for. So another trait of a toxic person is the inability to apologize. Someone who is very toxic is also very manipulative, and you may find that they have a big issue saying that they're sorry or admitting that they're wrong. This is such a thing that I feel like a lot of people have this issue when they're younger, but through maturity and hopefully through the understanding that we want to be honest people and we want to own up to our mistakes, you would hope that we would have growth out of this and that admitting that we're wrong and apologizing isn't something that's so painful like it was when we were younger and we wanted to always be right. And it's important to find someone with that same matched maturity that's learned that admitting wrong is not the end of the world, that you don't have to be perfect, because that strive for perfection is a very, very steep hill to fall down. And it's important to understand that humbling yourself is a great characteristic, and those who are unable to do so will definitely wave that red flag for someone who is a toxic person to be around. Another trait to look out for is jealousy. So I'm not talking about, oh my gosh, I am jealous of your relationship, but I hope it continues forever and I'm rooting for you. I'm not talking about face value admitting that you have stings of jealousy. I'm talking about being ruled by jealousy. I'm talking about when you do something, they have to try to do it twice as well, or that they might try to sabotage you. I heard this quote. I loved it. It's, be careful who you let on your ship, because some will burn the entire ship down because they can't be captain. And I know that I am not saying that correctly. Oh, goodbye, Toby. Thank you for joining us. No, I'm not saying that correctly, but you get the gist. Some people with their jealousy will try to take you down just because they cannot be in a position that you're in. It's important to understand that someone who isn't toxic is going to want you to grow. They're going to want to feed your passions. They're going to want to push you forward. So if somebody is ruled by jealousy and doing things like not wanting to hear about your accomplishments or trying to one up you all the time or trying to sabotage your relationships, your connections, or your accomplishments and pride, that is definitely a huge red flag for a toxic person. Now, it's also important to understand that a toxic person can be someone who always makes you feel like you're defending yourself. That can sometimes be the easiest sign. So if you go home at the end of a sort of interaction with this person and you feel so incredibly drained and exhausted, and you might have just sat on the couch with them for a few hours, but for some reason your body feels like every ounce of energy has been twisted and drained and wrung out of it. That is a telltale sign that this person is toxic. If you are emitting so much energy and you're not getting some of that energy fed back, you don't need to be hanging out with that person or in a relationship with that person. We should be able to feed off each other, rejuvenate each other, fill up that love basket, because you can't give out of an empty basket, and truly just uphold each other to the next level. And that again goes with romantic relationships as well as friendships. But it's important to kind of take note of your energy level when you're done hanging out with this person. Because if you feel like you just wasted your time or you're exhausted or you need some recovery, that is not okay. And that's something to really pay attention to, because your energy is so precious. And those who truly love you and care for you, who are not toxic, will understand that you need to have that self-care and you need to be kind of lifted up to that next level. So we will definitely be doing more videos like this. There's a lot more signs. Those are just some of the easier ones, I think, especially if you find that you do have difficulties at this time being self-aware and being able to kind of tell. Maybe you have a really bad streak of having friends and lovers who are very toxic. It might be that you just have a really hard time picking up on some of these red flags. And I hope that some of this has helped. Again, there will be a part 2 in the future, but for now, thank you so much for letting me yap at you. Please don't forget to subscribe. Again, I'm Tani Seren. I do daily toy reviews, tech reviews, sex education, relationship advice, whatever I feel like putting on this channel. And I hope you enjoy it with me. So thank you so much. Goodbye.